Who do you hang out with the most? Think of the top 5 people that you hang out with. So who do you hang out with the most? Now, the answer to that question could be slowing you down in business, or it could be propelling you forward. Hey, my name is Dawnna St. Louis. I'm founder of the ESuite Network. We work with you to bridge the gap between the 99% and the 1% through entrepreneurship, innovation, and entrepreneurial thinking. You know, Jim Rohn once famously said that we are the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And I know this to be true. When I really struggled in my business, I noticed that my circle was made up of people who constantly complained, they weren't doing well, there was an excuse for everything. But then I changed my circle. And that new circle made all the difference in the world. For example, I have a writing coach named John Perugine. And John Perugine, after I wrote my latest book, The 6 KickAss Strategies of the $1 Million Entrepreneur, he suggested that I actually go to like the Writer's Digest and large magazines like that and see if they would feature my book. And I was like, why would they ever feature my book? And he gave me the look like, are you kidding me? Why wouldn't they? As a result of John's prodding and forward thinking, there is a 4-page spread and feature cover about the 6 KickAss Strategies of the $1 Million Entrepreneur that's coming out in the December 2016 issue. Totally blew me away. Christine Hassler, also someone in my network, does these amazing retreats in Bali. And one of the things that she suggested was upping my retreat. She goes, I want you to go from something educational to something more retreatish, right? So I'm like, retreatish, okay. So just by virtue of listening to her, we did things like adding an executive chef. Instead of going to a hotel, we actually rent out a 9-bedroom mansion. The mansion overlooks the ocean in California. We do things like have guided meditation, yoga in the morning. There are bikes for people who want to go bike riding. An executive chef comes in and does the cooking for the 2.5 days. And then, on top of all of that, we actually get to work. And we do the work in such a way that people are able to walk away with a 10 times return on investment, which is so important to us that we hit that number. So it was not just about delivering the content, but actually creating an experience. And Christine taught me how to do that. And we've been selling out ever since. And then finally, Meredith. So Meredith Elliott Powell is a defying marketplace gravity guru. The woman is amazing. But on top of that, she hikes and bikes in as many countries as possible. I was telling her the other day that I was finding it really difficult to add more of a workout to my day. In fact, many days I would miss. And she said, oh, I'll show you how to do it. So we're out of town. We do this 3-day mastermind retreat, and then it's just 2 days with Meredith and I. And the one thing that she does that's brilliant is she gets us a hotel room that is outside of City Center, and it doesn't have all of the bells and whistles. So it's a half mile outside of City Center, which means that because it doesn't have all the bells and whistles like 24-hour room service, if we want to eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner, for the most part, we were going to have to hike it. We had to walk out to go to breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I kept saying, you know, this is going to really pull away from our day and we're not going to get as much work done. It was just the opposite. We'd go out for breakfast, and during breakfast, we'd plan out what our day would look like. We'd come back for breakfast, and we'd be really focused for like 2.5 to 3 hours, and then we'd walk to lunch when our brain really needed a break. And the result of giving our brain a break and then focusing and giving our brain a break and focusing, when we focused, we were able to focus so much deeper and longer and really get some serious results. So she wasn't even trying. Now, as a result of this, by the way, I ended up walking about 10 to 15 miles per day, something that if you would have asked me before was possible, I would have said, hell no. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is, okay, so I understand, Dawnna, I need to have a positive circle. So how do you change a bad circle to a good circle? So let's first start with, how do you change the bad circle? Well, the first thing you have to ask yourself is, do you attract the negative people? Negative attracts negative. So if you keep complaining and talking about how things aren't working and everything's bad in business, you're going to attract people that are complaining, nothing's working, and things are bad in business. So first you have to recognize, you have to change who you're attracting simply by changing how you're thinking about business. The second thing is you have to own it. That's right. You allowed these negative people to be in your life and in your business. It is now time for you to take responsibility for that and do something about it, which takes us to part 3, purge it. I don't care if they're families, friends, co-workers, clients, business owners. I have fired bad clients. I don't care how much they're paying. I have cut ties with people in my family if they were too negative. When Scruffy chewed up my Christian Louboutins, Scruffy had to go. I'm just saying. You have to really get down to the point and take responsibility for what you've done so that way you can purge the negative people out of your life. Now, once you've purged out the negative people, let's talk about how you attract the new people. First, decide what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, and find the people who can actually help you strengthen your weaknesses. That's what you have to do first. And then be the person that other people want to be around by recognizing your strengths and then proactively sharing those strengths with others. Then network at professional conferences where the people who have the strengths that you want have them. So if you're struggling in marketing, go to a marketing conference. We tend to only go to conferences where we excel. So I am a speaker, so I go to the National Speakers Association, but I'm not a marketer, so I don't go to a marketing meeting. No, go to a marketing meeting so you know how to market. Go to PR conferences so you learn how to do PR and you meet people that also know how to do these things, and then bring them in your circle. So how do you actually get them in your circle? You have strengths where they have weaknesses, so use your strengths to give to them. In other words, use your strengths to give back. In other words, instead of being a getter, think about how you can be a giver, and that will attract more people. Listen, you have a lot to offer, so surround yourself with the people who value your gifts and are willing to give to you in return for those gifts. When you do that, you will be able to achieve the impossible, even jumping out of a plane without a parachute and living to tell about it. No, seriously. Hey, my name is Dawnna St. Louis, and I'll see you next time.